Hi everyone, and welcome to Nothing Venture, Nothing Aim. As always, I'm your host with the most, your GM Jared. And today we're going to talk about something very close to many of our hearts. It's been making its way around the internet. We all kind of know what is going to be talked about. It's the whole monetization that Wizards of the Coast would like to do to D&D and what that looks like, or what it's going to be looking like for the future in terms of OneDND. Now, this was broken. The story was broken by Dice Breakers. That's kind of funny. Dice Breakers broke the story. So sorry, Dice Breakers. And let me bring up the writer of this article was Chase Carter, and it was broke. The story was broke on December 9th. So it's been a while, I know. And Dungeons and Dragons executives think the brand is really under monetized. And the moment that came out, we've seen everything. People doom and gloom. We've seen a lot of people talk about it. And you kind of have to look at it from the bigger picture. Now, when we all started hearing, my group started hearing about the OneDND initiative and how that was going to focus on creating this digital brand, I kind of saw this coming. Now, this isn't new for many older players. We saw something similar like this happen in 4th edition 3.5. That's why we have that the editions kind of have those terms labeled on them. The 3.5, it was the age of the computer, and it was the brand new concept, right? So you had Windows 95 and you had updates. So this D&D 3.5 new edition was similar to like that Windows update concept. And 3.5 4th edition, they tried to make Dungeons and Dragons more digital. There were a number of attempts to make it digital. I mean, even before that, you had in the 80s, when I was growing up, you had the Dungeons and Dragons TV show. Then you had the 2000s, the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Whether or not you like them is a different story. I loved the movie and I loved the TV show. All of them were amazing in their terribleness. But with that out the way, we come now, and we're kind of looking at it. So from my perspective, what I think we're going to look at, so before we all doom and gloom, right, we panic, let's take a moment and take a step back, right? So woosah, woosah, woosah. So originally, a lot of people were upset with what they were seeing for the playtest coming out. It made them a little hesitant. I know I've talked to a lot of new players who have just joined in the 2014 when 5th edition kind of came out. Even after that, joined because of Critical Role, and they didn't like the way the direction OneDND was going, the rules, right? So let's take that, put it to the side. Now let's talk about this monetization. Now we know D&D has acquired D&D Beyond, and they kind of taken all of that. Now we've heard a lot of things, making writers sign NDAs, not talking about specific things. I think that has to do with the OneDND, the playtest rules, and not so much the monetization concept. I think monetization for them and the way they want to move forward is going to be on the digital aspect, the digital frontier. Now, that goes into the OGL concept, right? We've heard the OGL might be going away. If you don't know what OGL is, Open Game License might be going away from D&D. They might not be using that. That happened in 4th edition also. The OGL was changed in 4th edition, as I understand it, and it wasn't really used. Now, 5th edition blossomed because of the OGL. You have a lot of third-party stuff. I follow a lot of third-party stuff. I love it. It really created, 5th edition really created this new vibrant world for gamers, and that's awesome. And I think that's why a lot of people are scared or hesitant to see where this goes, because we don't want to lose that. We want to keep that community going, and I'm on your side with that. I really want to see this community grow and blossom. Now, with that being said, I think what we're going to see with the OGL, the reason why they might be moving it or changing it is because of the D&D online aspect. That's how I feel. That's how I'm viewing this, is because D&D, they're trying to monetize D&D, right? And how are they going to do that? Well, it's going to be online. It's going to be through that online source and information. Now, this is hypothetical. Please don't think this is true. This is what I see and the way I see this playing out. This is my analysis of the situation. I think it's all going to be online. It's going to be done online specifically. And what you're going to get is a lot of like 99-cent bundles, which is something I think we all kind of saw coming. It's going to be a lot of like similar to Fortnite, right? Like if you want to follow the trends, they're going to do what we've seen with Fortnite, Diablo Immortal Online, the phone game, you know, even like World of Warcraft, and these monetizations of these little microtransactions. I don't think it's going to be pay to win or anything like that. I think what we're going to have is the subscription fee, and that gets you the books. And then you're going to have to get like the mega fee, the mega subscription to get access to this. And if you want like dwarf armor, you're going to have to pay $1 so that you can use it in their virtual tabletop, which we know was one of the things D&D 1 wants to bring forward, is the specific Dungeons and Dragons virtual tabletop. I think that's where you're going to see a lot of this monetization going. Oh, you want to use drow figures or dark elves? It's $1 or $5 for the bundle box, you know, the bundle of all the costuming figures. Oh, you want draconic armor and dragons? Get the dragon box, you know, the dragon bundle. You want old school feel? You want your dice to visually look like the red dice that came in the old boxes. That's going to be $1.99. You know, Christmas. Oh, Christmas is coming. The holidays are here. You know, what Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you know, whatever holidays, you're gonna see a lot of these deals happening due to that. And it's gonna be like, oh, you could get the starter bundle, and that comes with the older starter set, you know, D&D 5th edition, Minds of Phandelver. That's gonna be you could get the Minds of Phandelver starter set for $15.99, and it comes with the dice that came in the box. I forgot if it came with dice, and it comes with the skin for, you know, you get the tavern that you can use. I think that's what we're going to start to see, and that's why I think the OGL is going to change in that aspect, because they don't want other companies creating stuff for that aspect, for that digital frontier that they want to get into. Think of it, right? Like, so we have Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, right? Those are the big ones that a lot of people use. Even Foundry, VTT. Those three often come around. There's Owl Bear Rodeo. There's a lot of them, right? But let's say Roll20, right? Currently on Roll20, I can start a game, use the 5th edition platform, and then just throw in my own pictures. I have online, I have that the AI generated pictures, and I could generate pictures and then bloop, throw them all in, and now all you want, this is what the tavern looks like, right? I didn't have to purchase anything. And I homebrew. Most of my games are homebrew worlds. So I really don't, the only thing I ever purchased, you know, really are the rule books, so that my players have the books in Roll20, and that's about it. Same thing with Foundry. You know, I play Pathfinder 2nd edition on Foundry, and really all I buy are the rule books. Everything else is homebrew. Then if I need to make an item, I just use an item and I rename it. So that's really all I buy, and that's what they're looking at, is like, how do we get more purchase options? Simple. We're going to make our own virtual tabletop, and then if you want to have your character sheet to be, let's say, Loth inspired and have spiders everywhere, sure. If you want your character sheet to be dragon inspired and they're dragons, and every time you roll a natural 20, a dragon flies by and blows fire, that's going to be your price point. So I think that's why the OGL might be changing, is because they don't want people, they want to keep it all in-house, is really where I'm going at. I know I've kind of like talked around that topic. They just want to really keep it in-house. They don't want to lose that aspect. Now remember, right, like, honestly, if you buy the books and you go home and you make a homebrew world, you technically are breaking the OGL, right? Like, I don't know if anyone from Wizards is going to kick down your door and come chase you, as if you're playing, you know, D&D 1, and you're like, oh, I gave my Dragonborn, you know, detect magic innate feature. Technically, you've homebrewed something, and you could put that's you're not right. Like, the open game license allows you to create using their rules. So we call it homebrew. You know, it's homebrew, and then suddenly, you know, I think the only time it becomes a problem is selling. And that brings to the second point. What are we going to do? Because the community we've inspired, that we have here, this amazing community of creators, right? And then these creators have built something. A lot of them have their livelihoods based on this. I don't think that's going to go anywhere, right? So we're going to have a lot of people who are still going to be wanting stuff for 5th edition, right? When I want to put this out there before we continue. I'm a fan of edition changes. I've never hated edition changes because I like to see where edition changes go. I really want to see what happens and what changes. Lore for me doesn't really matter much. I love listening to like Mr. Rex or Jordan with PH. I love listening to their lore information and stuff like that. It's just fun when I'm driving. I listen to it through my speakers, you know, before I go to work or when I'm coming home in traffic. I love listening to their lore and information, and it inspires me to play. But for the most part, like when I'm using monsters, I'm using it like vampires aren't allergic to garlic in 5th edition. Garlic does nothing to them. In my world, it does. It affects them greatly. We actually had a campaign, and someone actually had garlic fried rice on their character that they had eaten at a tavern, and they were fighting a bunch of vampire spawns, and the vampire spawns would like come within 10 feet and then move away, and they realized that they had garlic fried rice on them and the garlic was keeping them away, and they were like, oh, these are more inclined with the, you know, the Bela Lugosi vampires that you see in the movies. So they use that, but I digress. You know, so I like seeing where edition changes go, and really I'm in the camp of homebrew. We've had this conversation, and I want to see where the edition changes go. I'm not opposed to edition changes, so I don't think we're going to lose people because of that. I think what we're going to lose is a lot of times what we're going to have here, what we have going on here is people scared that they're going to lose their livelihood, and that can happen if the OGL doesn't go. And doesn't open up to actually allowing people to create or do those Kickstarters. Now we know, right? Wizards of the Coast has that conversation. They feel it's under monetized and they're trying to figure out how to make more money. That could be a driving force why they won't allow OGL. And then I'm, as well as you, have to ask yourself, are we going to tolerate that as a community? Is that something we want to tolerate? You know, I want to see the rules. I want to see Dungeons and Dragons going, but I don't think Dungeons and Dragons dies with an edition change. I think it dies if we stop playing and we stop moving our feet. You know, so maybe OneDND doesn't allow the open game license, and you know, we don't change to from 5th to D&D 1 as a community, and we focus more on 5th edition. You know, there's a lot of free stuff out there, and you know, this is, like I said, I play Pathfinder 2nd edition, and this is kind of what happened to Pathfinder. You know, 4th edition wasn't picked up by a lot of the old 3.5 players, and then came out there was Pathfinder, and now there's Pathfinder 2nd edition, and maybe this is going to be another aspect of that. So we'll have D&D 1, and then we'll have a sub branch, a new branch off of that. There are amazing other tabletop role-playing games, and this isn't a video about talking about those other tabletop role-playing games. This is a video saying, you know, I'm concerned, as well as everyone else out there is concerned, to see where our favorite hobby goes. I don't think we're going to lose a lot. I think Wizards of the Coast is going to listen to us as a community, and I think they're going to be like, you know, the OGL stuff we might burn a lot of bridges with. I've already seen people tweet out that, like, if they get rid of OGL, they're going, like, that's all their big YouTubers. Like, we only have 500 subscribers, so we're nothing. We're dropping the bucket. But, like, YouTubers that are in the millions and multi-millions of subs on YouTube said that they were just going to, like, that was they were just going, every video, they were going to just say, like, open game license. That's what we need, open game license. Or it might drive them away, you know, like, might force them off of the hobby, which is not what we want. We don't want that. We want to see people, we want to see this hobby grow and keep moving forward. I know my friend Jeff, he just got his niece into it, and I'm super excited to get my children into it. And, you know, I don't know. I'm equally as concerned. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think they're seeing the backlash of the open game license situation, and I think they're going to probably rectify that and just say, listen, we're still trying to figure it out. You know, for a while, 5th edition didn't have an OGL, and then they needed to figure out what was going to be on that list for the open game license that they were putting out for 5th edition. So I have hope. I have faith that they're going to do right by us. And it's weird, right? Because I'm one of these people who are like, don't trust any big corporation. And WotC, Hasbro is a massive corporation. So I'm on thin ice already with them. So I just think they're looking at this in terms of a financial aspect. We already know that's what they're looking at. I don't think they are going to burn all their bridges because of the open game license. I think they're going to be like, we need to really figure this out, because if we burn these bridges, we're in trouble. You know, I hope if you're watching this video and it's the future and the game's out, I hope, you know, this isn't one of those videos where you're watching like, oh, that didn't age well. I hope this video ages well. I hope we see the monetization. In the way I see it, monetization is going to be specifically on the digital aspect, and then like t-shirt, merch, movie, and cartoons, right? So this isn't new. I already said that, you know, we had the cartoons with Gary Gygax kind of creating that cartoon already, and then we had the movie in the 2000s. We kind of know this is what's going to happen. We know they're going to try and really push that movie. They're going to try and create a cinematic universe, you know, similar to like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that's what they're trying to create, is a cinematic universe. The movie isn't out yet, so who knows? And we do know merch, right? They're looking to sell merchandise. You know, I already pre-ordered and I got suckered into it. I don't know if anyone else seen it. It was like the dice that transform into the monsters. I bought a set of those dice. I pre-ordered a set of dice. I thought that was cool. So I'm that's merch, right? And they got me with it. Whatever the price was, it was like $15. I was like, yeah, $15, right? So for me, that was merch. So they got me on the merch, right? They know they got me on the movie, so they got me on both ends. You know, the OneDND thing, I'm an old man, right? So I'm not going to get into the digital stuff. All the people I play with, I play live. So I'm probably not getting the D&D Beyond stuff and the D&D OneDND digital frontier. That's not for me. That's for my kids and their kids. That's for a different generation, you know. And I apologize if you're out there and you're like, I live in the middle of Scotland and, you know, the nearest store is hours away, so I play online. Like, it's more for you and obviously the younger generations growing up. I'm an old man now. I can't believe I've hit this stage in my life where I'm like, the internet, you know, I'm not going to play on the internet. You know, I'm an old man now, so I'm not playing on that stuff. I'm going to be playing live in person, rolling dice. So I hope this video reaches out to everyone, and let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments that I'm wrong. I think that's the way they're going to go. That's my analysis of this situation. I think you're going to see a lot of bundles online. It's going to be a lot of monetization online. I don't think they're going to go the Diablo Immortal. If you don't know what that is, it was basically Blizzards of the Coast came out with a Diablo game for the phone, and it was just like the worst monetization aspects you could see. I don't think they're going to go that far. What I think you're going to get is a lot of microtransactions, dice, character sheets, miniature information. You know, they are competing against Hero Forge, right? Like Hero Forge. I could buy, I think it's like $15. I could get the STL file and print it out. My friend has a 3D printer. I can have them print out the miniature I create on Hero Forge. That's what they're fighting against. Maybe they're going to have an aspect like Hero Forge where you're going to be able to go create your character on their D&D 1 virtual tabletop and then print it and then have a miniature. That would be a cool concept. If anyone out there from Wizards of the Coast is listening and is like, oh, that we've thought of that already, and you can't really say anything because you're on NDA, in the comments below, use an emoji. Let me know. Because if not, and you steal my idea, I know it's my idea. I got this. But again, like I said, let me know in the comments down below if I'm right, if I'm wrong. We'll still be here. NVNG will be here, rolling dice, giving advice with a lot of that New York spice. Because, man, A lot of my friends were angry at this information. I was mad too. My initial reaction was hot fire. So there was a lot of spice there. But thank you for sticking around. And yeah, I don't have a sign off. Usually I got like a pretty good sign off. Got nothing. Peace.